Welcome to TBS. This is Sadie, and today we're going to be talking about the Bevers murder. She was a fitness instructor who was well beloved in the town. She's from Texas, and she had decided to get fit after her last child. And she's a white blonde lady who's in her 40s. She had been married to the same guy since high school, and they had been going through a rough patch. She had decided to engage in an affair, and the husband knew about it. They were working through the details and trying to decide what to do. But in the meantime, she was still doing her physical fitness and training and helping women to get better bodies for themselves and health. She seemed to be a really likable, nice woman who was a bit excitable and had a lot of energy. She was determined, headstrong, and really outgoing. The husband is a little bit less outgoing, but seems to be able to speak his mind without problem and also be able to navigate and talk about emotions without problem, considering where he's from, Texas. So this was a very small town, but not too small that there was some anonymity. So what happened was she sometimes had to find different places to hold the fitness classes that she had. And churches and schools were two of those places. And so this day, it was early in the morning, and she had gone to a school to do some, I guess it was to set up some of the equipment, but it also could have been to warm up herself, or both. And it was one of those things where a lot of people did know she was going to go there that early, because she always says on Facebook where she's going to be, so that any lady who wants to come and work out can come at a minute's notice, because she believes that accessibility is important. And so this morning around 4 or 4:30, she was in a concrete building that was pretty large, and she was distracted. And the security camera picked up someone come into the building by a side entrance. It was a person in full SWAT gear. The police said they can't tell if it was real police or not, but it looked like it was mixed together of different kind of police uniforms, but that it had been real. So this person, who is not man or woman, no one knows, no one can tell, and experts on stance and walking can't tell if it's a man or woman. Not even a percentage. It's like 50-50 apparently. So this person goes into the place and has doesn't look like there's anything in their hand. And so this person just walks around hitting things and kind of biding their time, I guess you could say. But they come in after Missy does. So it's like, did Missy know this person? Who knows? So this unknown assailant makes their way to the room that Missy is in getting ready. And another thing that the police say is they can't tell if this person is meandering around or that they're actually going towards the room where Chrissy is, or Missy. So, so the person takes a axe off the wall that is either they had an axe in their hand, I don't remember, or they took an axe from the fire extinguisher area, and they go into the room where she's at, and it seems like they slowly go in there too, like they're kind of meandering in there. They chop her to bits and then leave in a black sedan. there's a security camera in the parking lot too. It's unknown if there are two people, but it seems like there probably was a driver because of the ease and swiftness of how the car got out of the parking lot. But they don't know. So pretty much no one knows what happened. The dad and his relatives were out of town on a hunting trip, and so no one knows if it was a disgruntled woman who had been in her classes or the wife of the guy she was cheating with or him. No one knows at all, and it's apparently almost impossible to see the height of this person in the video. And as I said, the stance is very muddled. So we're going to try and find out today what happened to Missy. And I really hope we do, because I really, it isn't that this case has bothered me. It's just that, I mean, I have my own theories, but I don't really know at all, and no one does. So hopefully this will give us some guidance. I'm going to use this deck for qualifier, but it's oracle cards. For now, we're going to use tarot. Let's see what we can find out. Okay, so Four of Wands, which is celebration. Nine of Materials, which is coins. Voices is swords, emotions is cups. So this is in no particular order because of how I did the shuffle pop. So let's see what we can find out just based on this all together in a conglomeration. So this is celebration, which means that she could be celebrating leaving, she could be celebrating herself, or it could be all the ladies celebrating together, getting healthy. This means the lady who is independent, who has her own money, who is excelling in life and does not need a man. The Nine of Swords means rock bottom. The Page of Cups means sensitivity. The Ace of Swords means truth. And the Three of Coins means diligent working. So, and also like teamwork, I guess you could say. So the coins seem to be her and her girls and how they're learning and growing. And everything else seems to be maybe her personal life not doing so well. Okay, so this is saying that as far as her affair is concerned, she was taking it easy and wasn't in love. It was more just they kind of had an understanding, and that's why the husband didn't go crazy to leave or make her stay either right away, because she was balancing everything, and then that was why the two men seemed to be able to. It's true that she was deceitful because she was stealing from another woman, but she felt like she had inside knowledge that it would be okay, and she had an instinct that she just needed this, and the guy needed this, and that somehow the wife would be okay, and somehow her husband would be okay. So Eight of Cups. This is actually King of Wands. See him? And Page of Wands. So some of her ideas were to make a new start, obviously. And this is saying that she miscalculated a little bit on what her husband would feel like about her leaving and going out on her own and having her own business. Pretty much what happened was she was a stay-at-home mom and he was working outside of the home, and when she started to change her body and change her views and get her own money, he is pissed because he didn't show it for a while, but he's pissed because he feels like he was used so that she could just go off and do whatever she wanted. She felt like she was being really strong and generous to her husband by telling him everything and being on the up and up, so to speak, as in being transparent. But he was looking towards, and she was looking towards the past, thinking, we've been friends and in love this whole time, it'll be okay. And he was thinking about her awakening and how it had been a problem, and now he just saw her as trying to get money and someone that he couldn't relate to anymore. Now we want to ask about outside forces. It became apparent to her that a lot of her clients were in a bad way financially. And that they'd been putting their men first in their life. She said that she wanted to give them an idea of how to become independent and not put themselves first, so that nothing bad would happen if the guy tried to leave or if they were depressed and sad because of something that he did. She wanted to bring truth to them and help them with their children, but also their own vitality and go back to their own childhood. And she felt like it was a new horizon, that this was invaluable advice that she was being able to bestow on these people and help them get in shape so that they could avoid physical death, but inside have a death to their old self and change to be new. Some of these ladies were coming from bad situations, and some were coming from families that everything was good. Here she is again. Missy is the 9 of Coins. So this is just, the women are seeing her like she sees herself. Independent, having her own stuff. But some people and her husband were seeing her as cheating, lying, or taking something that wasn't theirs, having a victory that wasn't warranted, and felt like they should be the emperor of her life, not her do what she wants and abandon the children and family, is what he was thinking in his mind. But some of the ladies were feeling this too. They were thinking, why are you putting all this before your family? celebration again. But overall, the women were on her side about celebrating themselves, getting their own money, resting when they needed to rest, and working when they needed to work instead of working constantly, like because they felt like they couldn't let their family down. And that this was a new way to become spiritual, not just go to church, but to take care of your body. So overall, the ladies felt like that, although there were some detractors. And it gave some of the ladies and herself idea to leave, even though it was going to be really bad for her. Not in the long run it would be fine, but bad for everyone in the immediate future when they were about to leave. But then at the end there would be the world they could have. So some people that were close to the husband started telling her that people didn't like what she was doing and that she was raising up the women against her family, saying that she was going against creation and going against what women were made to be, and that she was falling for temptation of vanity and self instead of putting her family first. And her husband believed this as well. So she knew she had a lot of ways that she could go, and that she felt like she already had her family, which was her kids, and that she no longer wanted her husband in it, and she had got to the point where she didn't feel bad about it anymore. She felt like she was being balanced and fair, and that it was just she wanted what she wanted, she couldn't change her mind, and that she was willing to fight for it. And she was willing to work on herself and have her own money, her own business, rely on herself, start over, even if it was going to be scary and she might fail. She wanted to do it. And she was going to defend herself against all detractors and save her money. So her mind was made up and she wasn't going to change it. As far as being a queen of love, she felt like marriage didn't matter anymore and she could give love to who she wanted, when she wanted, without any problem. She didn't want heartbreak to herself or others. And her mind was made up. She was ready to go. But he was thinking, sitting back on his armchair in the living room, what the F has happened to my family? How do I get out of this? Why has she become so charismatic and full of herself? So in the Eight of Swords card, the person is in self-inflicted exile and imprisonment. They don't know that they can walk out. They have no bindings on them. So he could just get out of this by going his own way, but he believes that she has put him in a prison and she has ruined his life. He wants to be the leader and get revenge. And he's going to defend his family no matter what, even if it means someone has to surrender to his death that he wants. So in order to get satisfaction, he asks people in his family to help him. There's regret here, but Page of Coins, it could be his son or nephew. I thought it, when I first heard about this case, I thought it was a lady who might be in love with her or hate her, and she wanted to kill her, but this is actually, makes a little more sense, I guess. He wanted this person to use everything they had to do what he wanted. They were going to go forward to victory and make a plan and do a team so that they would stop her from leaving. And first he tried romance, and that did not work at all. It's not what she wanted. And she pretty much redoubled her efforts to leave. See, her money. And he's like, fine, I'll just lie and get what I want. So he did some certain things. Tried to force his way and say, we're supposed to be together. We're soulmates. But she's telling him, no, because this is just the way life is. I just fell out of love with you and I can't change it. And he said, what about when we were together and we were younger? She said, I still have that hope, but it's for myself now. So he decided to take it upon himself to not love her anymore, to have hate for her, and to secretly and intuitively find out how and what would hurt her the most. He became ready to fight. And freedom and oppression, as in prison, he was ready to flip the dice to see what he would get, because he wanted her to pay so badly for what she had done. So on the surface he seemed very calm, and it was really amazing how he was acting. But underneath there was a lot of power towards hurting her, and he did reach his goal. On the hunting trip was actually for them to all get together and figure out the plan. They needed to be in solitude to all speak together safely without being noticed. So some of them went all the way down, I think it was 6 hours to this hunting trip, and the others stayed behind, but their trucks were gone. So it was kind of like everybody thought they were gone, but some of them were actually still in the town. Okay, he wanted Karma to hurt her very badly, and he knew where he could bury her, and he was thinking of all the traditional ways, but this guy, someone in his family, and someone like two men in his family decided that this was not the way, and they were going to have to do it in a very collaborated kind of gang style thing. Okay, so this is saying that they all got bent on victory and to rally around him and avenge him for what had happened, and they picked one of the nephews to be the avenging angel. And they had the idea, and they were going to gamble on it, and the world was kind of their oyster, as in they felt like all together they could do this. And they had kind of a non-fear mentality that was actually based in unreality, but they still made it work somehow. So based on his knowledge of where she would be, he made sure the children were safe and in a different area. And then sought out the expertise of someone that he knew who had the SWAT gear and could advise him on how to do this. And he was advised not to use a gun so as not to be tracked. And the SWAT gear was given to the nephew, who is younger and shorter, so that's why there was kind of a problem with the walking. It wasn't, apparently people in his family do walk kind of odd, so that would make sense. So it pretty much went just according to plan. This was a hit by the husband, and he didn't do it himself, but his nephew did. And because they're all together in this, it seems like it would be like someone's gonna tell. But to them, it was like they're united in getting revenge for him because she pretty much screwed him over. And they all started to hate her too. And they thought, well, our wives will do this as well. It's pretty amazing that this still happens, but that's really how they felt. And so this is how he really is underneath. But that's what he is on the outside. And now he gets to have a new moon and a new promise, but she doesn't. And he's really happy about that. And he has like very, very small times of pangs of guilt, but he pretty much feels justified. And they all feel like they dodged the bullet and they're all free and they're not going to get caught. So that's the reading. It's a little different than I thought, but it makes sense. And hopefully justice will come soon. Let's see if we get a reading about that. Page of Coins. That means if there's enough put into it, they will. Enough resources, and everyone works together to get them, so probably will. Alright, have a good day.